everyone, and welcome back to my channel. Today I want to share with you a visit that we had to the Peyton Centre, which is in Attymass near Ballina in County Mayo. And if you've never heard of Father Patrick Peyton, he was also known as the Rosary Priest, and he was an Irish-born Catholic priest and member of the Congregation of the Holy Cross and founder of the Family Rosary Crusade. He popularised the phrases that you might have heard before: the family that prays together stays together, and the second one, a world at prayer is a world at peace. So those were his phrases that he was widely known for at the time. And he was born on the 9th of January 1909 and died on June 3rd in 1992, aged 83. He staged massive rosary rallies in key cities of the world and extensively utilised mass communication helped by world-recognised celebrities of Hollywood at that time, promoting his ministry of binding families through prayer under the Family Rosary. So I'll just tell you a little bit about his early life. He was born Patrick Joseph Peyton in Attymass, County Mayo, Ireland, to subsistence farmers John and Mary Gillard Peyton. Peyton was the sixth in a profoundly religious family of 4 girls and 5 boys, living in a small cottage on a 14-acre stony farmland near the foot of the Ox Mountains. Later on, some members of the family migrated to the United States. Peyton was sent to his mother's relatives in Ballyconlin, County Mayo, to study at a school run by Tadhg O'Leary in Beaufield. As a young man, Peyton was rebellious and had moments of defying authority, resulting in dropping out of school. Despite the youthful rebellion, he remained close to his family and deeply religious. By his teen years, he was contemplating a vocation to become a priest. Although religious recruiters such as the Capuchins and the Redemptorist Fathers visited Carricastle in search of young men wanting to pursue the priesthood, Peyton concentrated on helping his family earn a living when their father became too ill to work the farm. Some of his elder sisters were already in America and sent remittances to help the family left in Ireland, which was widely done at the time. In 1927, his sisters sent word that Patrick and his older brother Thomas could sail to the United States and join them in Scranton, Pennsylvania. On May 13, 1928, 19-year-old Patrick and his brother set sail. The brothers arrived in New York after a 10-day trip, travelling by steerage. The two took the train from New York to Pennsylvania and lived at the home of their already married sister Beatrice, who was working as a housekeeper for Thomas J. Baldridge, the State Attorney General. Peyton's sister Nellie had already spoken to Monsignor Paul Kelly of St. Peter's Cathedral and mentioned Peyton's interest in pursuing a priestly vocation. Monsignor Kelly told Nellie to bring her younger brother Patrick to the cathedral as soon as he arrived. By June 1928, with hard luck in finding a job, Peyton finally met Monsignor Kelly and was offered a position of becoming the cathedral's sexton. In the words of Peyton at the time, a sexton was just another name for a janitor. Peyton took the job with initial hesitation, but his daily presence at the cathedral brought back the calling for a vocation, and he finally decided to pursue the priesthood. Monsignor Kelly insisted that Peyton complete his high school education before admission to the novitiate. He and his older brother Thomas both pursued their religious vocations while working at the cathedral. During the spring of 1929, Father Pat Dolan of the Congregation of Holy Cross came to the cathedral in Scranton in search of new seminarians. Peyton and his brother Thomas entered the minor seminary of the Congregation of Holy Cross in Notre Dame, Indiana. After completing their high school studies at the Holy Cross School in Notre Dame, Indiana, Peyton was admitted to the Moreau Seminary within the University of Notre Dame in 1932, where he pursued a Bachelor of Arts degree and excelled in philosophy. He credited Cornelius Haggerty, a professor of ethics, as the one who provided him with counselling. As a young seminarian, Peyton was attracted to become a Holy Cross Father for the order's focus on the Holy Family and towards obedience. And in October 1938, during Peyton's second year of theology at the Catholic University of America, he was diagnosed with TB. He was transferred back to Notre Dame to the infirmary. Father Cornelius Haggerty was influential in this stage of Peyton's life, encouraging the young seminarian to seek the Blessed Virgin Mary's help. The doctors discovered that the patches in his lungs had disappeared. He immediately packed his bags and left for Washington, D.C. to complete his theology studies. and take his final vows. On June 15, 1941, Peyton and his brother Thomas were ordained at the Basilica of the Sacred Heart at the University of Notre Dame as members of the Congregation of the Holy Cross. Peyton was given very light duties following the completion of his theological studies. His first assignment was in Albany, New York, as the chaplain of the Holy Cross Brothers of the Vincentian Institute. Peyton started sending letters to bishops, the Catholic laity, and other groups promoting the importance of family praying the rosary as the war raged on. Utilising radio, films, outdoor advertising, and later television with the help of celebrities, artists, and advertising practitioners, Peyton was one of the first pioneers of evangelism using mass media. He would also pioneer in conducting public rallies to bring families to pledge to pray the rosary as a unit. These rosary rallies, attended by millions, would become the most significant event where Peyton could be best remembered. According to historian Hugh Wilford, Peyton himself was deeply conscious of the political dimension of his mission, proudly proclaiming in a 1946 radio broadcast, "The rosary is the offensive weapon that will destroy communism, the great evil that seeks to destroy the faith." These rosary crusades were duplicated in different dioceses, with attendances growing in numbers. They took Peyton around the globe to locales including Brussels, Belgium, Madrid, Spain, Manila, Philippines, New Zealand, Papua New Guinea, Lima, Peru, and Rio de Janeiro in Brazil. With the help of a non-Catholic advertising practitioner, Peyton would popularise the slogan, "The family that prays together, stays together." During the Marian year of 1954, Peyton brought the Rosary Crusade to Ireland, where it was estimated that as many as 445,000 people attended his rallies. With the Cold War threatening the new world peace, Peyton's work in promoting prayer was recognised by the Holy See. His efforts earned him the title the Rosary Priest. Peyton died peacefully on June 3, 1992, holding a rosary in a small room in the Little Sisters of the Poor Jean Dugan residence in San Pedro, California. His remains were brought to the Holy Cross Cemetery on the grounds of Stone Hill Cottage in Easton, Massachusetts. Before Peyton died, he continued to work on what was to be the last major rosary rally. On December 8, 1992, which today is the anniversary of December 8th, the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, at the Rizal Park in Manila, Philippines, Manila Archbishop Cardinal Jamie Sin led the celebrations for the Golden Jubilee celebration of the Family Rosary Crusade. The Archbishop of Los Angeles, Cardinal Roger Mahony, was sent as papal legate on behalf of Pope John Paul II. Among Filipino Catholics, Peyton is remembered for his Sunday televised shows where he promoted the Rosary and Marian devotion. Along with his famous slogan, Peyton also encouraged many businesses to make and sell large amounts of rosaries for distribution, which he gave freely to impoverished Filipinos living in the slums. Peyton's work continues today in his original ministries, Family Rosary, Family Theatre, and Family Rosary International, and the Father Peyton Family Institute. On October 9, 2020, Family Theatre Productions released a biographical film about Peyton. Father David Guffey is the National Director of Family Theatre Productions and a member of the Holy Cross Religious Institute that Peyton belonged to. Guffey is the executive producer of the film entitled Pray, the Story of Patrick Peyton. Cardinal Sean Patrick O'Malley announced a formal declaration opening the cause for sainthood of Father Peyton on June 1, 2001, a few days after receiving approval from the Vatican's Congregation for the Causes of the Saints. The declaration paved way for the process of determining Peyton's holiness, and in the process earning the revered title of Servant of God. The Positio was sent to the CCS in 2015 for assessment, and the theologians approved his cause on June 1, 2017. Pope Francis named him as Venerable on December 18, 2017. So we really enjoyed our visit to the Peyton Centre in Attymass, and we were welcomed very nicely by the ladies working there, and I would highly recommend a visit there if anyone is in the area. And I would recommend that people look up and find out more about Venerable Father Patrick Peyton. And if you have any inclination to find out more about the Rosary, don't hesitate but to contact me or to get on the old Google and look up about praying the Rosary. As Father Peyton said, the family that prays together stays together. And the practice of the Family Rosary was very widely done during when my parents were growing up and when we were growing up. and it has faded away gradually, but we continue it here in our home, and I find it a lovely time of the evening where we get together and we just take the 15 minutes to pray. And that's all it takes, is 15 minutes. So we do that here, I'd say 6 out of 7 days of the week. Thanks be to God, we are able to get together and pray our rosary. And I think it's a wonderful thing to pass on to children, that they know that there is prayer, that there's power in prayer, and Our Lady is there to be our advocate, and why not pray to her as the mother of Jesus, and she will bring us to Jesus. Through Mary to Jesus is another good motto. Today is her feast day, the Feast of the Immaculate Conception, where we remember how she was conceived without sin in her mother's womb, and God had great plans for her. And we thank her for her yes, and for being the mother of Jesus. And we ask her to bring us close to the heart of Jesus. I'm going to leave you with a clip of Father Patrick Peyton himself speaking, and this was him reminiscing on after the time that he was healed and that he was allowed to go back to seminary, and the prayer that he made to Our Lady and the promise he made to her. So thank you all for watching this video, and I hope you've enjoyed it, and I hope you've enjoyed learning about Father Patrick Peyton. Maybe you might feel inspired to say a little prayer to Our Lady today on her feast day, and that would be amazing. I will talk to you again soon. God bless you all. See you in the next video. Bye.
They sent the report in a letter to me to the infirmary where I was. So at night, I kept the letter, and I know it's helpful in sanitarium. I felt inside I'm either released like a criminal in the dock or I'm a fool. And I was afraid to find out. It took me a long time to break that envelope because everything was inside. And when I opened it, my freedom, like the poor criminal, when the jury reports he's innocent. The freedom was, we feel you can go back to the seminary. And there was a picture of the Sacred Heart, the Immaculate Heart of Mary on that infirmary wall where I was. And when I saw the verdict, freedom, I knew who gave it, Mary. So I cried out to that picture, Mary, I hope I will never disgrace you.
In early December 1939, just as Pat's recovery was beginning, the Peyton's mother died. It was later revealed by their Aunt Annie that their mother's constant prayer at the time was that Pat's suffering would come upon her so that Pat might recover and become a priest. The following April, their sister Nellie also died from a heart attack. As Nellie was receiving her last rites, she was asked if she had a message for her two brothers. She replied, "Tell them that if it be God's holy will that they become priests, I pray that they will be true priests, like Jesus Christ."